ਪੀਸੀ 24 ਦੇ ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ 'ਚ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਬਹੁਤ-ਬਹੁਤ ਸਵਾਗਤ ਹੈ ਜੀ। ਮੈਂ ਹਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਹੋਸਟ Paul Shima and I will be with you till 7:30 uh, 30 p.m. today. So we all know that a lot of things are heating up in India and specifically over the name of India itself. Why? Because there is an opposition party, a coalition of opposition parties. uh, they named their coalition as I.N.D.I.A, India. And the ruling party is averse to that name. So now it is a kind of very uh, confusing situation if the head of the state calls himself as president of India. Is India considered as a coalition party or India as country name? First of all, I think parties should be banned from using certain acronyms. They shouldn't do that in the first place. Why use INDI? So it should have been stopped, it should have been prevented, but had when they have chosen this name as INDIA, is the name change the only strategy available? So what do you think about it? We are not going to criticize anyone. We are not going to, badmouth any party. We're just talking a decent conversation, like two educated people talking and expressing concern, not debating. Should they have done it? Should they have not done it? That's out of purview of. On the other hand, what's going on in the market is Bank of Canada's rate decision, which comes tomorrow. So, but before we move on to our program, I would like to congratulate each and every one of you. If you are celebrating your birthday, if you are celebrating your anniversary, if you are celebrating the birth of a new baby in your family, that's cool. And if you are celebrating the closing of your home today or this past week, well, many congratulations. So I wish you success in whatever you do, and I hope that you keep shining the way you are shining right now. If not, do not give up your hope, because hope is what keeps the world going. People keep saying life is so short. Why should we plan for 3, 5, 10, 20, 50, 60 years? Well, a very valid question. Why should we plan when we know we can pop out any minute? Well, from my perspective, what I see is this: life is short. We all know that. We don't know if we are going to take the next breath or not. But what is about planning for such a long period, 5, 6, 10, 20 years? Well, that is hope. If everything falls in place, 5 years down the lane, I will do this. In 5 years, I would be there. So there's nothing wrong in it. And when you go for a job interview, employers or the recruiters usually ask you this question. And the question is, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? So someone might say, I'm going to take your position in 5 years. Then God bless you. Nobody is going to hire you. Interview is a skill that has to be mastered through practicing public speaking. So public speaking is really critical. And if I tell you that people are more scared on speaking in public than dying, you would be astonished. You don't believe me? Google it up and see the data yourself. So people have more fear of public speaking than of dying. And this is so true. So we are hosting a seminar, a webinar actually, online, which will be for a duration of 40 minutes to 1 hour, depends on the interaction. And we would like to share some golden rules of doing the best in any job interview. And the first and foremost tip, if you want to perform better at a job interview, is listen. Listen and do not start thinking of your answer while the other person is speaking. If you do not understand the question, there is no harm in either rephrasing and asking for confirmation, or asking them to just repeat it. That's okay. It happens, so that your answer is correct. And I do not think that any interviewer or recruiter will feel bad about you asking again and again, right? So when they ask you, where do you see in the next 5 years, rather than bluntly starting answering your question without giving a single thought, just clarify. Oh, thank you very much for asking, sir. Are you asking about my personal life 5 years down the lane, or you are asking about my professional life in this? And I will tell you, the person is going to be very happy with that. Try it. They're going to say, "Oh, of course, I wanted some take about your professional life." Nobody is interested in your personal life. It's only you who feel happy taking selfies and sharing online. People are just trying upon you, trying to find where you live, what you do, and are you a good candidate to be scammed or not. So basically, try to put some good thoughts into the question before saying anything. The golden rule number two is wait about 15 to 20 to 25 seconds and then compose your answer. Every answer should have three critical components. Opening, which should be very crisp, and body like your body between head and your legs, body, and then summary. Summary, basically reverting back to the title. If you can do that successfully, you are going to be successful. So join us on September 16th. It is, I guess, a Sunday or Saturday. Let me check. Yeah, it is a Saturday. So join us on Saturday, on 16th, and we will share some great information about how to be better. And this will be way better than where you are at this point. Okay. So join us and ask me for the joining link. Send me a message on my cell phone, any of these two cell phones, 647-424-0358 or 647-333-2270. I thought these were some important opening statements that I wanted to make today. And then we are going to divulge into our regular update about the housing, the economy, whatever data I see here. I would like to share that with you. If you want to pitch in, well, feel free to pitch in. So we all know that the GDP has come low. GDP for the month of July is a negative 0.2. It dipped. It was expected by CMSC that it will be 1.5, and many expected it to be 1.2, but rather than going there, it dipped. So weaker than expected GDP data last week likely sealed the deal for a rate increase. That is 100% correct. I don't see any reason that the rate would be increased. But at the same time, there are economists who believe that this is not going to be the end of the rate increase cycle. Why do they think that? Are they worried that inflation may kick in again? Demand may rise. There may be certain factors like home purchases, which adds to inflation in a very, very big way. So, weaker than expected data last week that we discussed. So, Statistics Canada, sorry, it was no CMSE forecast. I stand corrected. Bank of Canada predicted 1.5% forecast for the second quarter, but it was uh, minus 0.2%. So, the surprising slowdown in economic growth, together with rising unemployment and easing inflation, firmed up the consensus expectation for a rate hold at tomorrow's monetary policy briefing. It also led to some suggesting we have now reached the end of the current rate cycle. But there are, like I said, some economists who do not agree to that. The broad softening in the domestic economy will almost certainly move the Bank of Canada to the sidelines at the next week's rate decision after back to back rate hikes. So, this was mentioned by BMO chief economist Douglas Porter. Between the half point rise in the unemployment rate, the marked slowing in gross domestic product GDP, and some cooling in core inflation, it now looks like the rate hikes are over. But not everyone is convinced, guys. Not everyone is convinced. I think Bank of Canada should have comfort to deliver another rate hikes at this point, but they will probably seek the cover of the latest GDP figures and defer a fuller forecast assessment to the October meeting, by which point they will also have a lot more data. So, this is mentioned by Derek Holt, who is Scotiabank's economist. Nevertheless, Derek says he is unsure the rate hikes are. The governor has been clear that a protracted period of actual GDP growth underperforming potential GDP growth will be required in order to open up this inflationary slack in the economy. In plain language, he realizes he has to break a few things in order to achieve his inflation goal, which is 2% rate of interest. I don't think, again, Derek, he has the confidence at this point to say that they are clear on such a path. He's talking about the governor of Bank of Canada. But on the other hand, our premier, our sweet premier, Mr. Ford, has written a letter to the governor of the Bank of Canada to stop increasing the rates. Oh my goodness, that is so hilarious. It's a federal matter, and I don't see anything going to happen. So there are many forecasts going around. So on inflation, what does the National Bank say? The National Bank says, unfortunately, it is on CPI inflation where policymakers will and should feel uneasy. The reacceleration in July will continue in August, due mostly to gas prices and base effect, and could push headline inflation close to 4%. The Bank of Canada doesn't expect a particularly benign inflation environment in the near term, noting in July that the price growth should hover around 3% for the next year. Governing Council will therefore tolerate some near term under upside pressure, particularly if it comes with weakness elsewhere in the economy, like GDP. However, a stabilization above 3% would be problematic and could mean additional tightening. That's what it says. So, what about future rate hikes? So, this is the take by Desjardins. There has been sufficient weakness in the economy to warrant a pause on Wednesday, even with inflation data that will leave policymakers feeling uneasy. We expect that July's hike will prove to be the last of this tightening cycle, and recent data reinforce that view. ਇਹ ਡੈਜ਼ਾਰਡਿਨ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ, ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਕਿ ਇਕਨੋਮੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬੜੀ ਮਹੱਤਵਪੂਰਨ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਆ ਵੀਕਨੈਸ ਆ ਗਈ ਹੈ, ਜਿਹਦੇ ਕਰਕੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਕਿ ਵੈਂਸਡੇ ਨੂੰ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਭਾਵੇਂ ਇਨਫਲੇਸ਼ਨ ਡਾਟਾ ਬੇਸ਼ੱਕ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਅਨਈਜ਼ੀ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੋਵੇ, ਪਰ ਉਹਦੇ ਬਾਵਜੂਦ ਹੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਜੁਲਾਈ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ, ਇਟ ਸ਼ੁੱਡ ਬੀ ਦਾ ਐਂਡ ਆਫ ਰੇਟ ਟਾਈਟਨਿੰਗ ਸਾਈਕਲ। ਰਿਚਾਰਡਨ ਦੇ ਇਹ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਹੈ। ਸੀਡੀ ਇਕੋਨੋਮਿਸਟ ਕੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ, ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਕਿ the economic slowdown will continue, justifying our call for Bank of Canada to remain on the sidelines for the rest of this year. Basically, TD economy ਵਾਲੇ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਆ ਕਿ ਭਾਈ ਬੈਂਕ ਆਫ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਇੱਕ ਪਾਸੇ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਬਹਿ ਜਾ, ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸੁੱਖ ਦਾ ਸਾਹ ਲੈ ਲੈਂਦੇ। ਕੋਸ਼ੇ ਬੈਂਕ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ the governor needs to be mindful that market conditions have eased of late and careful not to drive a further easing that could replay the rally in 5-year Government of Canada bonds earlier this year that set up cheaper mortgages and drove a spring housing boom. So what about GDP? तो ਆਪਾਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਫੋਰਕਾਸਟਰ ਕੀ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਆ। ਇਨਫਲੇਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਨੈਸ਼ਨਲ ਬੈਂਕ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਬੜੇ ਅਨਈਜ਼ੀ ਹੋਣਗੇ ਇਨਫਲੇਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਨੰਬਰ ਦੇ, ਕੋਈ ਇਨਫਲੇਸ਼ਨ ਇਜ਼ ਐਕਸਪੈਕਟਡ ਟੂ ਕੰਟੀਨਿਊ ਔਨ ਦਾ ਅਪਸਾਈਡ 4%। ਠੀਕ ਹੈ ਜੀ। ਸੋ ਪਾਲਿਸੀ ਮੇਕਰ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਦੇਖਣਗੇ ਕਿ ਜੇ ਇਹ 3% ਤੇ ਹਾਵਰ ਅਰਾਊਂਡ ਕਰਦੀ ਰਹੀ ਨੈਕਸਟ ਈਅਰ, ਇਟ ਕੁਡ ਬੀ ਵੈਰੀ ਡੇਂਜਰਸ, ਰਾਈਟ। ਸੋ ਗਵਰਨਿੰਗ ਕਾਉਂਸਲ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਆ ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਫਿਰ ਵੀ ਇਹਦੇ ਬਾਵਜੂਦ ਹੀ ਥੋੜ੍ਹਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਅਪਵਰਡ ਪ੍ਰੈਸ਼ਰ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਉਹ ਹੈਂਡਲ ਕਰਦੀ ਰਹੂਗੀ ਕਿ ਚੱਲ ਕੋਈ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ, ਥੋੜ੍ਹੀ ਦੇਰ ਤਾਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਦੇਖ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਆ, ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਫਿਰ ਇੱਕੋ ਵਾਰੀ ਇੱਕੋ ਜ਼ੋਰ ਦਾ ਝਟਕਾ ਮਾਰਾਂਗੇ ਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਦੇਖੀ ਜਾਊਗੀ ਕੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਕਿ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ। ਸੋ ਦੈਟ ਵੁੱਡ ਬੀ ਦਾ ਨੈਕਸਟ ਪਰਟੀਕੂਲਰ ਥਿੰਗ ਦੇ ਮੇ ਕੰਸੀਡਰ। ਸੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ PC24 RE TV। ਅਸੀਂ ਇਸ ਵਕਤ ਫੇਸਬੁੱਕ 'ਤੇ, ਟਵਿੱਟਰ 'ਤੇ, ਲਿੰਕਡਇਨ 'ਤੇ, ਫੇਸਬੁੱਕ ਦੇ YouTube ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਐਟ ਦ ਸੇਮ ਟਾਈਮ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਸ ਵਕਤ ਲਾਈਵ ਚੱਲ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ। ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਚੈਟ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਮੈਂ ਸੁਜੈਸਟ ਕਰੂੰਗਾ ਕਿ ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ 'ਚ ਸ਼ਿਰਕਤ ਕਰਨੀ ਚਾਹੋ ਤਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਜੁਆਇਨਿੰਗ ਲਿੰਕ ਭੇਜ ਦਿਆਂਗਾ। ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜੁਆਇਨਿੰਗ ਲਿੰਕ 'ਤੇ ਆਓ ਅਤੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਅਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਨ ਲਈ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਤਿਆਰ ਬਰ ਤਿਆਰ ਇੱਥੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਬੈਠੇ ਹਾਂ। ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਿਰਫ ਦੱਸਣਾ ਹੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਜੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਆ ਗਏ, ਅਸੀਂ ਐਟ ਦ ਸੇਮ ਟਾਈਮ ਐਟ ਏ ਟਾਈਮ ਅਸੀਂ 3 ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬੰਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਆਪਣੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਲੈ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ। 3 ਤੋਂ ਵੱਧ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੈ ਸਕਦੇ ਕਿ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਫਿਰ ਕਈ ਚੇਂਜਿਸ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆ ਆਪਣੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ 'ਚ ਕਰਨੇ ਪੈਂਦੇ ਆ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਇੱਕਦਮ ਕਰਨੇ ਬੜੇ ਮੁਸ਼ਕਿਲ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੇ। ਸੋ 3 people can join my broadcast at the same time, not through TikTok but through my regular setup। ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਨੀ ਚਾਹੋ ਤਾਂ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਕਰੋ। ਅਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਨ ਲਈ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਤਿਆਰ ਬਰ ਤਿਆਰ ਬੈਠੇ ਹਾਂ ਐਂਡ ਵੀ ਵਿਲ ਬੀ ਵੈਰੀ ਹੈਪੀ ਇਫ ਯੂ ਵਾਂਟ ਟੂ ਕਮ ਇਨ ਟੂ ਦਾ ਬ੍ਰੌਡਕਾਸਟ। ਸੋ ਇਹ ਸਾਡੇ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਇੱਕ ਫ੍ਰੀ ਸੇਵਾ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਗੱਲ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ ਪ੍ਰਵਾਸ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ ਅਤੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਲੋਕ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਜੁੜਨਗੇ, ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਨਗੇ। ਅਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਮਦਦ ਜਿੰਨੀ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ। ਫੀਲ ਫਰੀ ਟੂ ਕਮ in our broadcast and ਲੈਟਸ ਸਟਾਰਟ। ਇਹ ਅਸੀਂ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਨੀ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਸਾਡੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਰਹੇ, ਹੋਰ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕੀ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ। ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਡੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੈਗੀ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ। ਸੋ ਫੀਲ ਫਰੀ ਟੂ ਜੁਆਇਨ ਅਸ ਜੀ, ਵੀ ਆਰ ਹੇਅਰ ਐਂਡ ਵੀ ਵਿਲ ਬੀ ਹੇਅਰ ਫॉर a long time। ਸੋ ਸਾਡੀਆਂ ਲਾਈਨਾਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਇਸ ਵਕਤ ਓਪਨ ਹੈ ਜੀ, ਤੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਜਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਚਾਹੋ ਜੁਆਇਨ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ ਸਾਡੀ broadcast ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਐਂਡ ਆਈ ਵਿਲ ਬੀ ਮੋਰ ਦੈਨ ਹੈਪੀ ਟੂ ਟੇਕ ਯੂ ਆਨਲਾਈਨ। ਓਕੇ ਜੀ, ਸੋ ਜਸਟ ਅਸੀਂ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਤਿਆਰ ਬਰ ਤਿਆਰ ਬੈਠੇ ਹਾਂ। ਅਸੀਂ ਉਮੀਦ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਜੁੜਾਂਗੇ ਤੇ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ। ਸੋ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਬੈਂਕ ਆਫ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਤੇ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸਾਡੀ ਪਾਲਿਸੀ ਰੇਟ ਕੱਲ੍ਹ ਅਨਾਊਂਸ ਹੋਣਾ ਉਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਕੀ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਜਾ ਸਕਦੀ ਹੈ। ਬੇਸਿਕਲੀ ਕੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਕਿ ਬੀਮੋ ਇਸ ਵਕਤ ਪ੍ਰੈਡਿਕਟ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਕਿ 2024 ਦੇ ਐਂਡ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਾਡਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਟਾਰਗੇਟ ਰੇਟ ਆ 5% ਤੋਂ ਘੱਟ ਕੇ 4.25 ਹੋ ਜਾਏਗਾ, ਜਦ ਕਿ CIBC ਕਹਿ ਰਿਹਾ ਕਿ 3.50 ਹੋਏਗਾ। ਸਕੋਸ਼ੀਆ ਬੈਂਕ, CIBC ਤੇ TD ਬੈਂਕ ਦੋਨੇ ਇਹ ਐਕਸਪੈਕਟ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਕਿ ਇਸ ਸਾਲ ਦੇ ਐਂਡ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਪਾਲਿਸੀ ਰੇਟ ਹੈਗਾ ਉਹ 3.50 ਮਤਲਬ 5% ਤੋਂ 1.5% ਡ੍ਰੌਪ ਹੋ ਜਾਏਗਾ ਪਾਲਿਸੀ ਰੇਟ। 1.5% ਡ੍ਰੌਪ ਹੋਇਆ, ਵੇਰੀਏਬਲ ਮੌਰਗੇਜ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਇਕੁਅਲੀ ਚੇਂਜ ਹੋ ਜਾਣਗੀਆਂ, ਰੇਟ ਘੱਟ ਸਕਦੇ ਆ। ਦੂਸਰੇ ਪਾਸੇ NBC ਤੇ RBC ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੇ ਪਿੱਛੇ BC ਲੱਗਾ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੋਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਇਹ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਜੀ ਰੇਟ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਉਹ 4% ਤੇ ਰਹਿਣਗੇ, ਸਿਰਫ 1% ਦੀ ਕਟੌਤੀ ਕੀਤੀ ਜਾਏਗੀ। ਇਹ ਪ੍ਰੋਜੈਕਸ਼ਨਸ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਜੀ 2024 ਦੇ ਐਂਡ ਦੀਆਂ। 2023 ਦੇ ਐਂਡ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਐਕਸਪੈਕਟ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਸਾਰੇ ਬੈਂਕ, ਬੀਮੋ, NBC, RBC, ਕੋਸ਼ੀਆ, TD, ਵਿਦ ਦ ਐਕਸੈਪਸ਼ਨ ਆਫ CIBC, ਸਾਰੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਕਿ ਜੀ 5% ਹੀ ਰਹੂਗਾ, ਰੇਟ ਨਹੀਂ ਘਟੂਗਾ ਇਸ ਸਾਲ। ਅਗਲੇ ਸਾਲ ਦੇ ਐਂਡ 'ਚ ਇਹ ਮਤਲਬ 75 ਬੇਸਿਸ ਪੁਆਇੰਟ ਤੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਕੋਈ ਕਹਿ ਲਓ ਕਿ 1.5 ਬੇਸਿਸ ਪੁਆਇੰਟ ਡ੍ਰੌਪ ਹੋ ਸਕਦਾ। ਠੀਕ ਹੈ, ਡਿਫਰੈਂਟ ਬੈਂਕਸ ਦੇ ਡਿਫਰੈਂਟ ਪ੍ਰੈਡਿਕਸ਼ਨਸ ਨੇ। CIBC ਇਹ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਕਿ ਇਸ ਸਾਲ ਦੇ ਐਂਡ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹ ਰੇਟ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮਤਲਬ 5.25 ਤੇ ਜਾਏਗਾ। ਦੈਟ ਮੀਨਸ ਦੇਰ ਮੇ ਬੀ one more rate increase। ਉਹ ਇਹ CIBC ਪ੍ਰੋਜੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ। ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਦੇ ਵੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਨੀ ਹੋਏ, ਜਸਟ ਲੈਟ ਅਸ ਨੋ ਐਂਡ ਆਈ ਵਿਲ ਸੈਂਡ ਯੂ a link where you can join the conversation. This is not going to be regular TikTok invite, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਕੱਲ ਅਸੀਂ TikTok invite ਲਿੱਤੇ ਸੀਗੇ and what happened, we ended up stopping the other channels because all the discussion was happening and I was very thrilled to have the interaction by amazing people yesterday. ਸ਼ਿਵਨਸ ਆਏ ਸੀਗੇ ਤੇ ਨਾਲ ਸਾਡੇ ਰਾਜਹੰਸ ਭਾਜੀ ਆਏ ਸੀਗੇ, ਹੋਰ ਵੀ ਬੰਦਿਆਂ ਨੇ ਬੜੀ ਸ਼ਿਰਕਤ ਕੀਤੀ, ਸੋ ਥੈਂਕਫੁਲ ਟੂ ਦੈਮ। ਬਟ ਦ ਥਿੰਗ ਇਜ਼ it was only restricted to TikTok. I would like to take it to the overall platform. ਜਿਹੜਾ ਵੀ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਜੁਆਇਨ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਣਾ ਡਾਇਰੈਕਟ ਲਿੰਕ ਭੇਜਾਂਗੇ ਐਂਡ ਇਟ ਇਜ਼ ਅ ਸਿੰਪਲ ਸਾਈਨ ਇਨ ਟੂ ਦ ਬ੍ਰੌਡਕਾਸਟ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜੁਆਇਨ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਸੋ ਜਿਹੜੀ GDP ਹੈਗੀ ਆ ਉਹ ਡਾਊਨ ਆ। ਬੈਂਕ ਰੇਟ ਬਾਰੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕੱਲ੍ਹ ਪੂਰਾ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗੂਗਾ ਕਿ ਬੈਂਕ ਕਿਹੜੇ ਪਾਸੇ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ। ਜਿਹੜੀ ਆਪਣੀ ਫਾਰਵਰਡ ਗਾਈਡੈਂਸ ਦੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਸੀਗੀ ਉਹ ਕਿਹੜੇ ਪਾਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਮੂਵ ਕਰਦੀ ਹੈ। ਐਟ ਦੀ ਸੇਮ ਟਾਈਮ ਅਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਦੱਸਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੀ US ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਨਐਮਪਲੋਇਮੈਂਟ ਰੇਟ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਉਹ ਵੱਧ ਗਿਆ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ। ਇਹ ਸਾਰੇ ਨੰਬਰ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹੈ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕਿਤੇ ਨਾ ਕਿਤੇ ਅਫੈਕਟ ਕਰਦੇ। ਠੀਕ ਹੈ, ਹੁਣ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਜੇ ਥੋੜ੍ਹੇ ਦਿਨ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਕੋਈ ਗੱਲ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਹੋਈ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਕੈਨੇਡੀਅਨ ਔਨ ਦਾ ਮੂਵ ਵਿਲ ਏ ਪੈਂਡੈਮਿਕ ਸ਼ੇਕ ਅਪ ਇਨ ਦਾ ਮਾਈਗ੍ਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਟ੍ਰੈਂਡ ਹੋਲਡ। ਸੋ ਪੈਂਡੈਮਿਕ ਨੇ ਐਕਸਲਰੇਟ ਕੀਤੀ ਸੀਗੀ ਰਿਵਰਸਲ ਆਫ ਲੌਂਗ ਸਟੈਂਡਿੰਗ ਇੰਟਰ ਪ੍ਰੋਵਿੰਸ਼ੀਅਲ ਮਾਈਗ੍ਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਟ੍ਰੈਂਡਸ ਇਨ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ। ਓਨਟਾਰੀਓ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਲੋਕੀ ਬਾਹਰ ਗਏ, ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਲੋਕੀ ਓਨਟਾਰੀਓ ਛੱਡ ਕੇ ਗਏ ਆ। ਅਲਬਰਟਾ ਐਂਡ ਮੈਰੀਟਾਈਮ ਪ੍ਰੋਵਿੰਸਿਸ have emerged as astonishingly popular destination। ਜਿਹੜੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਚਾਰਟ ਡਿਸਕਸ ਕੀਤੇ ਆ ਬੜੇ ਇੰਟਰਸਟਿੰਗ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਦੇਖਣ ਵਾਲੇ। ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਓਨਟਾਰੀਅਨ ਐਗਜ਼ਿਟਡ ਕੀਤੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਐਟਲਾਂਟਿਕ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਐਂਡ ਅਲਬਰਟਾ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਖੁੱਲ੍ਹੀਆਂ ਬਾਹਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਸਵਾਗਤ ਕੀਤਾ ਕਿ ਭਾਈ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਓ ਜੀ ਸਦਕੇ, ਅਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਲੈਣ ਨੂੰ ਤਿਆਰ ਹੈਗੇ ਹਾਂ। ਐਟਲਾਂਟਿਕ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ 2022 ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ 29,881 ਬੰਦਾ ਮਾਈਗ੍ਰੇਟ ਕੀਤਾ ਪੈਂਡੈਮਿਕ ਦੇ ਦੌਰਾਨ, ਅਤੇ 2010 ਤੋਂ 19 ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਐਵਰੇਜ ਸੀਗੀ ਘੱਟ ਸੀਗੀ 1300 ਨੈਗੇਟਿਵ। ਉਧਰੋਂ ਬੰਦੇ ਇੱਧਰ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਸੀ। ਹੁਣ ਹੋਇਆ ਕਿ ਇੱਧਰੋਂ ਉੱਧਰ ਜਾਣਾ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕਰ ਦਿੱਤਾ। ਅਤੇ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਇਟਸ ਅ ਗ੍ਰੇਟ ਥਿੰਗ ਕਿ ਲੋਕੀ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਬਿਹੇਵ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ। ਦੂਸਰੇ ਪਾਸੇ ਓਨਟੇਰੀਓ 'ਚੋਂ ਕਿਹੜਾ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ, ਮੋਸਟਲੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਯੰਗ ਅਡਲਟਸ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ, ਦੇ ਆਰ ਮੂਵਿੰਗ। ਉਹ ਕਿਹੜੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ, ਯੰਗ ਅਡਲਟ ਦੀ ਰੇਸ਼ੋ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ, ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਡਿਸਟਰੀਬਿਊਸ਼ਨ ਆਫ ਓਨਟੇਰੀਅਨਸ ਮੂਵਿੰਗ ਟੂ ਅਦਰ ਪ੍ਰੋਵਿੰਸਿਸ ਬਾਈ ਏਜ ਗਰੁੱਪ ਪਰਸੈਂਟੇਜ ਟੋਟਲ। ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਲੋਕੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਵਿੰਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਹਰ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਆ, ਉਹ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਆ ਆਪਣਾ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਏਜ ਦੇ ਰਹੇ ਆ 16.24% ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਆ 20 ਤੋਂ 24% ਦੀ ਏਜ ਕੈਟਾਗਰੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ। ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ 17.65 ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਆ ਬਿਟਵੀਨ 25 ਤੋਂ 29 ਸਾਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ। ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਨੈਕਸਟ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਲੋਅਰ ਸਕੇਲ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ, ਉਹ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ ਜੀ ਆਪਣੀ 30 ਤੋਂ 34 ਸਾਲ, ਉਹ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ 11.8%। ਅਤੇ ਜੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਹ ਤਿੰਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਜੋੜ ਦਈਏ 16.24 16.24 ਨੂੰ ਅਸੀਂ ਜੋੜ ਦਈਏ ਅਤੇ ਦੂਸਰੇ ਪਾਸੇ ਲਈਏ 17.65, ਫਿਰ ਨਾਲ ਅਸੀਂ ਚੇਪੀਏ 11.08, 45% ਜਿਹੜੀ ਐਕਸੋਡਸ ਆ, ਜਿਹੜਾ ਲੋਕੀ ਮੂਵ ਆਊਟ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਆ, ਉਹ 20 ਸਾਲ ਤੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ 34 ਸਾਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ। ਅਤੇ ਜੇ ਅਸੀਂ 35 ਸਾਲ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਜੋੜ ਦਈਏ ਤਾਂ ਇਹ ਤਕਰੀਬਨ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਚਲੀ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ 53% ਦੇ ਨੇੜੇ। ਹਾਫ ਆਫ ਯੰਗਰ ਪਾਪੂਲੇਸ਼ਨ ਇਜ਼ ਲਿਵਿੰਗ ਓਨਟੇਰੀਓ ਫੋਰ ਬੈਟਰ ਫਿਊਚਰ। ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਕੀ ਸੀਗਾ, ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਵੀ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਸੀਗੀ, ਪਰ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ 13% ਸੀਗੀ, ਹੁਣ 16% ਹੋਈ ਹੈ। ਮਤਲਬ 2010 ਤੋਂ 2019 ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਦੇਰ ਵਾਜ਼ ਕਾਈਂਡ ਆਫ ਮੋਰ ਔਰ ਲੈਸ ਸਿਮਿਲਰ ਨੰਬਰ ਚੱਲ ਰਹੇ ਸੀਗੇ। ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਅੱਗੇ people from greater Toronto area are also pulling up stake, means ਆਪਣਾ ਘਰ ਘਾਟ ਪੱਟ ਕੇ ਕਿਧਰੇ ਹੋਰ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ। ਸੋ ਨੈਟ ਇੰਟਰ-ਪ੍ਰੋਵਿੰਸ਼ੀਅਲ ਮਾਈਗ੍ਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਆਫ ਓਨਟੇਰੀਓ census metropolitan areas and Toronto annual at July 1st। 1 ਜੁਲਾਈ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਨੈਟ ਇੰਟਰ-ਪ੍ਰੋਵਿੰਸ਼ੀਅਲ ਮਾਈਗ੍ਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ ਓਨਟੇਰੀਓ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਉਹ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ ਕੋਈ 36,644, ਅਤੇ ਪਰ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਟੋਰਾਂਟੋ ਤੋਂ ਨਿਕਲੇ ਆ ਉਹ ਨਿਕਲੇ ਆ ਜੀ 21,358। ਸੋ 36,000 ਚੋਂ ਮੇਜਰ ਪੋਰਸ਼ਨ ਗ੍ਰੇਟਰ ਟੋਰਾਂਟੋ ਏਰੀਆ ਚੋਂ ਨਿਕਲਿਆ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਉਸ ਟਾਈਮ ਸਾਰਾ ਇਹ ਲੋਕ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆ ਰਿਮੋਟਲੀ ਕੰਮ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਆ, ਅਤੇ ਰਿਮੋਟਲੀ ਲਈ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਮਰਜ਼ੀ ਕੰਮ ਕਰ ਲਓ। ਕਈ ਕੰਪਨੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਹਾਲੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਫਿਸ ਵਾਪਸ ਖੋਲ੍ਹੇ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਗਏ, ਬਿਕੋਜ਼ ਇਟ ਇਜ਼ ਸੇਵਿੰਗ ਦੈਮ ਲੋਟ ਆਫ ਰੀਅਲ ਐਸਟੇਟ ਰਿਲੇਟਡ ਐਕਸਪੈਂਸਿਸ। ਥੋੜੀ ਜਿਹੀ ਬ੍ਰੇਕ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਮੁੜ ਕੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਅੱਗੇ ਹਾਜ਼ਰ। Are you thinking of selling your home? You are covered. From my experience of 14 plus years in the real estate industry, this is what I have come to know. There are three major concerns that any home seller would want their realtor to answer. Number one, how much is their home worth? Number two, how long will it take to sell their house? And number three, what will the agent do to make it sell? I have answers to all these questions. To schedule your one-on-one appointment, call me at 647-424-0358. Once again, Paul Chima, broker with Remax Prime Properties. My phone number to call is 647-424-0358. Call me now and get moving.
From a vast experience in immigration industry, this is what I've figured out. Clients want to know if their application is submitted in a timely fashion, what a representative can do to serve best interest of their client. Clients are informed on a regular basis about the progress of their application. We deliver what we promise. My phone number is 647-465-8894 or reach me out at 639-998-1992.
Are you thinking of a career change or adding another one to your portfolio? Well, you are thinking right. Call Sarabjit Luddar at 416-879-3039 from Beyond Care Insurance Solutions. She also deals in life, long-term travel, critical illness, disability insurance. Give her a call today at 416-879-3039. This is what we can tell you. She will always give you the right advice and help you find out if being an insurance advisor is your piece of cake.
Are you looking for a reliable legal office that can handle your closing in the most effective manner? If yes, please get in touch with Rakesh Joshi at 416 213 8600. Joshi Law Office provides all the legal advices about real estate law, business law, immigration laws, notarization and affidavits, wills and trust. Give them a call today, 416 213 8600. ਅਵੰਚਿਆ ਬੜਾ ਖੁਸ਼ ਤੁਰਿਆ ਹੋਣਾ ਕਿ ਲਾਟਰੀ ਲੂਟਰੀ ਲੱਗ ਗਈ ਤੇਰੀ ਕਾਸ਼ ਇਦਾਂ ਹੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਲਾਟਰੀ ਲੱਗਦੀ ਵੈਸੇ ਗੱਲ ਤੇ ਲਾਟਰੀ ਵਰਗੀ ਹੈ ਮੈਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਲਾਈਫ ਦਾ ਬੀਮਾ ਕਰਵਾ ਕੇ ਆਇਆ ਤੇ ਜੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕੁਝ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਤੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਨੂੰ ਮੇਰੇ ਮਗਰੋਂ ਕੋਈ $1 ਮਿਲੀਅਨ ਮਿਲ ਜਾਊਗਾ ਉਹ ਅੱਛਾ ਇਹ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਉਹ ਜੇ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਕਮਲਜੀਤ ਬੋਲਾ ਨੂੰ ਸੰਪਰਕ ਕਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਫੋਨ ਨੰਬਰ 647 772 1481 ਹੁਣੇ ਹੀ ਕਰ ਲੈ ਫੋਨ ਬੈਠੇ ਨੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਤਾਂ ਮੈਸੇਜ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਛੱਡ ਦੇਈਂ ਉਹ ਬੱਲੇ ਉਹ ਤੇਰੇ PC24 ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ 5 ਚੈਨਲਾਂ ਤੇ ਬੜੇ ਸ਼ੌਕ ਨਾਲ ਦੇਖੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਨੇ ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣਾ ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਪ੍ਰਮੋਟ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੋ ਤਾਂ 647 333 2273 ਤੇ ਕਾਲ ਕਰੋ ਕੁਝ ਸਮੇਂ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਇਹ ਸੇਵਾਵਾਂ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਮੁਫਤ ਦਿੱਤੀਆਂ ਜਾ ਰਹੀਆਂ ਨੇ 647 333 2273 Welcome back to PC24 RETV. I hope you are enjoying the show. If there is something you want us to add, please let us know. We'll try to do as much as we can, and hopefully you will find the information very useful. So the market is not bad at all. You will say I'm just making it up. But no, it's not. There are people who are selling. There are people who are moving in. So who are they? Like just today, if I'm looking at my system here, just today, 1,838 listings went online. 1,838 listings went online, and there are motivated buyer sellers too. Sorry, not buyer, motivated sellers. So 346 people have adjusted their home prices in order to make it very attractive for the buyers looking to buy in their neighborhood. And they are spread all through Toronto's, MLS neighborhood areas. 69 listings have price increases. So 346 listings have drops in the price, while 69 increased their prices. So these are those listings that were trying to low price the house in order to attract more buyers. But when that did not happen, or they did not get an offer which they wanted to see, the price was revised. At the same time, there are many professional service providers who cannot provide a realistic price to the home sellers, and then the game shifts totally, and it's very difficult to control. 265 listings in Greater Toronto area have sold conditionally, just conditionally. There are terms still left to fulfill. And then there are 28 listings with an escape clause. So, what is an escape clause? Let me make a note of it. So, I will explain that what this escape clause means. So, 28 listings have sold with some kind of condition that is there till the closing date. And then, if we talk about leasing, condominium leases are 30 just today itself, and sold listings are 336. If we assume that all the listings would be sold, then 336 on this side and 265 on the other side plus 28. So 629 listings, which is close to 50% of what came in today. So, well, you will say close to doesn't make any sense. So let's do the numbers. The day is still not over. So around 34-35% listings have either sold or sold conditional with an escape clause or sold conditional with regular clauses, which are financing and home inspection, or maybe one or more other clauses. 450 listings have leased. It's a huge number, guys. 450 houses have been leased, and I wish I could share the range of the rent. I can only share some of the information because the system does not allow us to see more than 200 listings data at the same time. So if I'm looking at it, the status of lease listing, the average original price was 4,223 on an average. Median price is $2,900. So this is where we are. Yeah, it's a lot of confusing data. I don't know why. There is some kind of least clarity because the rates are mentioned in different pattern. I'm finding it very challenging to explain that to you because no way the maximum rent is 280,000. So those may be the bigger commercial listings, I guess. So I will not go there. Something is not working right. So I will have to trim down this data. But right now, let's talk about the state of the real estate market as of today. So only 79 listings expired. So 79 listings, how much percentage is that of listing that came in? It is just 4.3%. It's negligible. Basically, every house that comes in is being sold. And then there are 99 listings that are on the MLS, but you cannot go see them. They are called suspended listings. So coming back to escape clause, what is an escape clause? Alrighty, escape clause is basically a provision in the agreement of purchase and sale where the offer is conditional or contingent upon sale of buyer's property. So let's say you have a house to sell, and some home seller is very motivated to see an offer on their property. So you submit an offer saying, I will close only if my property sells, right? That is a covenant you put in the offer. But what happens is the seller may modify the clause saying, okay, we will give you that. But if another offer which is better than yours or same as yours comes in and they are ready to close without any escape clause, the seller will give you X hours or X days to remove your condition. Otherwise, you agree to get out of the deal and your deposit will be refunded as is, regardless of home inspection and finance clause conditions being met. That is what escape clause means. It is an escape route for the seller. He doesn't want to tie to you forever. Well, we don't know how you are selling your property. Are you reasonably priced? Unreasonably priced? If the houses are selling for, let's say, $800,000 and you have put an offer on another property for $900,000 and now you want to sell your house for $1 million and that's not going to sell, we all know that the seller would like to see how you have priced your property before he grants you that particular offer. There may be some ifs and buts to the situation. So make sure you understand how escape clause works. And if you are a great listing agent, you will always make sure your clients do not get stuck in that situation, right? So where you may not close in 1 year, but these poor chaps have to move somewhere else and they didn't get an escape clause. So, so escape clause works great for the sellers who sell their property contingent upon a buyer closing their own property. You understand what I'm saying? So that is what is meant by escape clause. An escape clause can be great, it can be very bad if it is not worded right. So what I suggest is be very, very cautious when going with the escape clause. It can put your seller client into a lot of problem if you are not careful enough when you draft this clause. So I would ask you to talk to your broker of record or broker manager or some senior agents who have done this kind of offers that your client is always protected. Make sure you take care of that. And how do you find there is an escape clause when you see the property sold conditional? Agents see that all the time. So you can reach out to an agent and maybe you have your own agent. You can reach out to them and ask, hey, can you tell me if this property is sold with an escape clause? And so in this case, that listing I'm looking at, it says SOBP, right? This is a condition on buyer's property. The buyer has to sell their property, only then this property will close. This is very normal for many jurisdictions where listings take a long time to close, a long time to sell. So that's okay in certain marketplaces. I'm looking at such listings in Hastings, going to West. I'm looking at those listings here which have sold conditional but have an escape clause up on those properties. Even in Niagara, escape clause. Come on, you must be kidding me. Niagara is selling pretty fast. So I don't know when and why would you like to be there, right? You're sending a message to my Toastmaster club that I'm in a meeting which is with you and I will join them real soon. So all these listings are sold conditional, and if you need more information about how it works, feel free to call me. And even in Toronto, waterfront properties, communities, which is sold for $739,000, and this property is in a building called 120 Bayview Avenue, and they have this escape clause. This is really cool. Escape clause in Toronto. I have not seen it in a long time. I never saw it actually, not in a long time. I never saw it. And there is one more, which is in Oxford, which also sold under escape clause. And this is sale of buyer's property, or SOBP. So this SOBP thing works great if let's say you go in, you look at the property and tell the seller, hey, I will pay you X dollars, will you take my offer, and I'm willing to close right away. And the seller will give a notice to the buyer and ask him to match the date and the numbers and take away his SOBP condition. And he will have to, if he doesn't do that, his offer will be null and void, and you would be able to buy. So these listings are great listings, anyways, because the offer is already there. So you can just say, hey, can I see your offer? Some people will give away these properties for a way better price. So there's no harm. Let me know what you want. So there is another property in Peterborough, and they are just asking for like sold price is list price is $550,000, and you can just imagine how much this could have sold for. But it has an escape clause, and the I don't see the closing date because the data will be updated once it is marked as sold firm. Unless it is marked as sold firm, we will not see any data up there. That's where we come in picture. So you understand now what escape clause means. If you ever hear someone that they want to buy but want to add conditional upon sale of their property, your agent, listing agent, should immediately insert escape clause for you. There's no harm in selling this way. But what usually happens, let's say if you do this in a busy market like Brampton, Mississauga, Kitchener, Cambridge, Waterloo, if you put a clause and if the status shows sold conditional, many buyers will not even try to see that property. This is the negative. But if you understand what I just said, tell your ask your agent, hey, can you check if this property was sold under escape clause? And if yes, then your agent, buyer's agent, should call the listing agent and figure out if you have option to view the property, because they will keep showing the property, and submit your offer. Cool, just do it, right? So, and there are so many property, like I'm looking at this data, and like I think I told you, 99 listings are suspended, sold with escape clause. Where is that? 28. So 28 houses for you. And what I'm looking at, there's one sold even in Berry. Isn't that cool? Berry properties are really good properties to buy. So I see Berry, I see Coburg, I see Graverhurst, Milton, sold with this number, and the prices, they range from a minimum of $209,900 to a max of 1.775 average price of these listings is close to 803,093 and median price is 689,900, which is more important. So 61989 999 is a really a magic number. So you can pick up many listings here and say, hey, I'm interested, and get into that. This will be very good. And there is one property in Lancaster listed for 1.449, which is 1.45, but with an escape clause. And escape clause is sale of property and inspection. So I will have to end this broadcast at this point today so that I can attend to my club's meeting. But I will see you tomorrow at the same time, 6:30 p.m. to see if someone wants to join our broadcast. We'll be here. Thank you very much for your time. Take care.